And good morning, friends. We're here a little early. Just check, little system check here. All of the good things. Practice this morning. Yeah, I think I got that dialed up. All right, I'm just going to do a little chanting before we get going. Yeah. All right. Shiva's abode. Do it this way. Priyanantva Priyapatigum Havamahe Nidinantva Ninipatigum Havamahe Vaso Mama Aham Jani Garbhadamatmamajasi Garbhadam Om Ekatantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tano Danti Prachodayate Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Samukascha Kadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Ambodharascha Vikato Vignasho Vinayakaha Dhummaketu Ganajaksho Bhalachandra Gajananaha Dvapashatani Namani Yapate Chunuyadapi Vidyarame Vivahecha Praveshe Nirgame Tata Sangame Sakate Chaiva Vignastasha Najayate Vignapalikuttaraya Shriganadhi Pataye Namaha Vakratunda Mahakarya Surikutti Samaprabha Avinam Kurume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarvada Shuklam Varadadam Vishnum Shashivanam Chatubidam Prasanna Vananham Daye Sarva Vigno Prashantaye Avastesham Vyastesham Kutastesham Purajaya Yesham Inivarashamo Hridayascho Janardanaha. It's all to Ganesha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. So we invoke these Maha forces, these great energies as an invocation to the start of our sadhana practice this morning, this very special practice of working with the goddess and the archetype, symbolism and its truth. All right. Okay, good morning, friends. Sarah's here. Megan, Gretchen, so happy that you are here. Tracy Lawson's here. Shigeko, Kate, Stephanie, and others. Welcome. And so at the home studio, I'm here again this morning. And today's Chai and Chat, if there's anyone that's new, hi, Brienne. If there's anyone that's new on the stream, we do a little conversation and then we get into our asana practice, pranayama, and meditation. And today's theme, as I posted on Facebook and Instagram and the YouTube channel thing that we do, is, the goddess and the archetype, symbolism, and it's ultimately this story around Shiva and Shakti. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about first this mask that is so common, if you will, in some of the good morning, Sam, and some of the teachings that we see, coming out of India. And this is really wild. This is the Shiva and Shakti mask. And so we can see on this, on this side is the blue side. This is the Shiva side. And on this side, the yellow figure that's the Shakti. And the first thing that one might consider when we look at this is that the two are one. Morning, Tammy. The two are one. And so in this kind of imaging, we're kind of telling a story of a symbol of a belief, if you will, a philosophy that recreates the message of the human's relationship with the universe and with the divine. Right? Because yoga, as we know, is really about this divine incarnation. We've kind of divided it. Good morning, Maggie. We've divided it in a million different ways, in America. But it's ultimately about this concept of being able to re-merge into this understanding of the whole being that we are. And so what we understand in the philosophy of Samkhya and also the 36 tattvas of Tantra, which this most represents, is that there's Shiva and Shakti. And so Shiva is is consciousness, and Shakti is considered the power of consciousness. And that's what we must first understand around this idea of, say, Indian spirituality. Tantra is really what this is that it's this merging of the archetypal energies of the goddess and the god, the Shakti, the goddess, and Shiva, the god. The goddess is the power of creation and creation itself, and consciousness is its just silent witness. And when we look at this image, there's a lot of different features of this image that I'd like to talk about. The first is that we see, this is called the jati, the dreadlocks of Shiva. And that has a very specific purpose. It tells a very specific story because when one has dreadlocks, ultimately the messaging here is that there is dispassion in the being. dispassion in the being. Shiva does this dance where his dreadlocks are untethered and he's just flying wildly in circles and his hair is flying around, and he ultimately is dispassionate. And this teaching is the teaching of the ego kind of release from its connections to the world. Many of you know my teacher is Baba Haridas, this Indian man that came to the States in the early 70s, 71. And I read something just today about something that he said around worship. And he said, worship should always be disinterested. Disinterested. And then he wrote further, he goes, all worship is done with interest. You know, creating like a relationship with the divine in some way through, if you will, the ego. But for the yogi, he said, all worship must be disinterested, because that is the type of worship that we do for self-realization, self-actualization. And that's the definition of yoga, right? Yoga, merging of the individual soul self with the transcendental reality, right? And so that's just one feature, the dreadlocks. And then we can see his and hers eyes. They're always in a trance-like configuration, half closed. And that is the look of the jiva. That is the look of consciousness. That is the look of trance. And you can do that with yourself. You can just kind of close your eyes halfway, and then all of a sudden the mind becomes still and focused. And then we see the third eye, which is vertical. And that is actually the inner architecture of the third eye. When the third eye opens, there's literally a line, a vertical line that you see inside, and it's like two curtains or gates are opening from the middle, both going out side to side, and it's a vertical line. And so that's the symbolic imaging of the opening of the transcendental vision. And then we see here, it's a little tough to distinguish. You see a moon here, a moon. And that crescent moon shape represents the idea that Shiva and Shakti can control time, because the moon waxes and the moon wanes. And there's a full story behind that. I can't really get into it. This is a little bit of a rabbit hole. Could talk for hours on all this stuff. But it's ultimately, the moon is about time. And then we see this white coming out of the figure. And that's actually water. And that is actually water that's flowing out of the high Himalayas that comprises the Ganges, which is fertility, first of all, and also the water is the energy that nourishes the creation. And so this is the archetypal goddess here, the water, the feminine, the nourisher. And then we see over here a cobra. We see a serpent. And Shiva and Shakti are wearing the serpent around their neck, right? And that has many different symbolism to it. First, the cobra, the serpent, is called the Naga, represents death. It represents transformation, and represents transformation of the ego, where Shiva and Shakti have no ego, and so they're completely dispassionate and can wear the serpent around their neck without fear of it biting them. Shiva and Shakti, the two who are one. Male principle, female principle, the essence of yoga. Beautiful, friends. And so when we practice today, I'll attempt to bring our awareness into different fields of this symbolic image, and we will recreate the dance of Shiva and Shakti, the two who are one. All right. I'm going to find a nice little spot over here so you can take a peek at that if you wish as we go through. I'm going to grab my tea. So thank you, friends, for joining, and thanks for sticking with all the things. Get a comfortable seated position here. I'm going to take a little sip of chai. Put that over there. Get comfortable. And I'd first consider opening your eyes, blinking them a couple times. Find a point, say, on the horizon, the space in front of you. And just focus on that point. And then let the eyes just slightly close down, not to the point where it may blur your vision. Close down just a little. Let the gaze be unwavering, so very firm gaze here. And then let your focus turn into a state of trance. And then recognize the necessary concentration that is suggested, but then become vairagya, become dispassion, disinterested. Notice your breathing. And notice how the trance-like state kind of consumes your being in some way. Just recognize that. And then exhale completely here. And then take a nice big inhale. Two more times for Om. So big inhale. One more of these, inhaling. And let the eyes close down here for a moment and consider and contemplate the nature of the physical universe and the nature of awareness. And consider if one can exist without the other. If there's no seat for awareness, does it exist? The two who are one. You just gently open your eyes here, friends. And we'll come off of our seated position here. So just kind of spin off of this. And we'll make our way to a tabletop position. And just kind of take a second here. And let's just circle the hips just to begin to warm up the body some. And so just circling of the hips, say in a clockwise direction. Mm-hmm. Just let the breath join in the practice. And so as the heart floats forward, we inhale. And as the hips draw back, we exhale. And feel free to move in any way that feels good, essentially. And then gently switch the direction. And then begin to explore this idea of the sensation of the body and the perception of the awareness of that experience. The perception of the awareness. Yeah. And then let's come into a puppy pose. Hips stay lifted here. Heart descends towards the earth, forehead earth. Just breathing. And then from here, just gently round up as you inhale, kind of draw the belly button in, and then gently release the hips down. The gaze goes up. And then exhale, lift the hips back. And then just continue this motion. And feel free to just kind of make it your own experience in whatever way feels illuminating for your body. But then the offering is to reflect into the experience of motion and fluidity, the experience of how through that there is a sense of nourishment that comes in, a sense of vitality that appears. Mm-hmm. And the yogi in us is invited to be, if you will, very vairagya, dispassionate around the sensation. there can be a tendency to qualify experience. We know that, and we've talked about this. Allow for this sense of dispassion to appear. The dance of Shiva with the dreadlocks circling in the air. Oh, yay. And then we'll meet in an extended child's pose. So now let the hips release to the heels, the arms stay extended. Breathe into the belly here. And just opening up into the back body. Allowing for the stillness to reveal the capacity of awareness. And then we'll gently inhale, float back up into a tabletop position here. And then a little twist. Let the left hand draw under the face. Inhale, float the right hand to the sky. Give the wrist a spin here. Breathe very deeply. And then take a nice big inhale and feeding now this right hand through on the inside left shoulder and the ear to the mat. Left hand reaches top edge of the mat. The hips can drift to the right. So we seal the twist along the length of the spine. You're just breathing here. And then take a nice big inhale and exhale. Left hand back underneath you, ground it. And then inhale, take the right hand to the sky. Then exhale, gently release. And we'll switch this out. So ground right hand, and I'll float the left hand. Wrist spins here. Yep, nice big inhale. And exhale, left hand floats through shoulder, temple. Right hand reaches, hips to the left. Just breathe. Yep. And then take a nice big inhale. And exhale, this right hand back underneath you, ground it. And then inhale, float the left arm. Yep. And then back into neutral position here. Extend the right leg behind you. Tuck the back toes under. So a little opening of the bottom of the foot, the calf and Achilles. Just wake that up. And then float that right leg, hip height here. Right leg floats, hip height. Take a nice big inhale. Stay with me here. The next, so round the knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. And then inhale, sweep the leg behind you. And exhale, bend the elbows a few inches and just sink the heart. Keep the leg lifted, maybe even lift it a little higher. And then inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, knee to chest. Give it a squeeze in. We'll do one more of these. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, bend elbows, sink here. Elbows kind of track towards one another a little bit. And then inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, knee to chest. Squeeze it in. And then gently release it down. We'll switch. So left leg extends, toes tuck under on the mat. Little feeling, sensation for the calf, Achilles. Just waking that up. Bottom of the foot too. And then float this left leg, hip height here. Really extend the leg back, so put some muscle action into the experience. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, knee to chest. Give her a little squeeze in. And then inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, bend elbows, sink. Yeah. And then inhale, straighten arms. Exhale, knee to chest, squeeze. And we'll do one more of these. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, bend elbows, sink. Yeah. Inhale, straighten arms. Exhale, knee to chest, squeeze, and then release to neutral. We'll meet in downward facing dog, so Adho Mukha Svanasana here. We know this, toes tuck under, hips lift, fingers spread wide, hands nice and flat, grounding to the roots of the fingers, and the triceps draped to the earth. Triceps to the earth. Externally rotating the upper arm bones. Kind of feel your way into it. If you want to add any movement, that's fine. Any pedaling of the feet. Kind of feel the sensation of being grounded in the form. You might even identify that as the capacity of Shakti, the capacity of the Shi energy. Yeah, awareness being the kind of the Shiva energy, Shiva and Shakti, the two who are one. Experience and liberation from experience. Really nice, friends. And then lift the heels here. Come up onto the tippy toes. Sink the heart. And then a little steeper pitch of the pelvis and the torso. A little more energy that way in the form. And then gently release the heels back towards the earth. Little bend in the right knee. Ground right hand stretch left calf and Achilles. And then straighten and switch. Yep. A little pedaling between the two. Feeling your way through that. Breathing. So nice, friends. Yeah. And then gently walk the feet to the hands here. Gently walk the feet to the hands. Uttanasana. We know this as our forward fold. Little space in between the feet. Eventually the weight kind of works in the big toe mounds of the feet. We know this. So the meat of the hamstring, center of the muscle gets the stretch. Give the head a little bit of a stir. Yes and no. That can feel really good. In a disinterested kind of a way, right? Always pivoting back to that neutrality. Grabbing opposite elbows here, friends. So a little traction of the spine. Be mindful here. Sustaining kind of this pressure in the big toe mounds of the feet. Straightening the legs. The belly button can drop to the spine. Feeling into that. And then gently half lift here, Ardha Uttanasana. We know this as hands mid-chins, lengthen from tail to crowns. Really extend here. Shoulders move away from the ears, engaging the muscles of the back to lengthen the spine. That's how that works. Nice big inhale. Exhale, lengthen out as you fold down. Chin tucks, hands release here. And again, inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, folding. And then little bend in the knees. Send now the left leg back into the lunge here. And we'll kind of work with this a bit. Stay on the fingertips, so nice and kind of high in the stance. Maybe hands even on the blocks if you like. Here, and then with an inhale, straighten the front leg knee. Draw the forehead towards the shin. And then exhale, bend that front leg knee. And then again, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And we'll do this one more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend, and then ground this left hand firm, and then inhale, take the right hand to the sky. So twist open here. Take a moment for that. Breathe very deeply. Yep. And then draw the hand to the sacrum. So the hand all the way to the sacrum. Keep opening the heart space here. And then gently release down onto that left knee. Take a moment. Sustain the twist here. And then possibly bend the left knee and capture the foot or ankle with the right hand so we open up into it. Just stay with the breath. So nice. And then a big inhale and exhale. Gently release the foot here. Right hand plants. Inhale, you're breathing. And then exhale, step back into high plank, high push up here. And then just pause for a moment. Let the core be active. We know this. Kind of pivot back to that sense of vairagya, that sense of dispassion. The Shiva's dance and the dreadlocks. Yeah. And then float the right leg hip height here. Breathe in, stay with it. And then a nice big inhale. And exhale, knee to chest, give it a squeeze in. And then inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, release it down. And we'll switch that out. So float the left leg here. Pause. Yep, nice big inhale. And exhale, knee to chest, squeeze. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, leg behind you. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, you're breathing. And exhale, knees to the earth here, all the way to the belly, preparing for Bhujangasana. A little familiar process here. Cobra pose, feet ground, pelvis grounds, hands ground. And then inhale, float on up. Shoulders move away from the ears here. Breathe. Just stay with the breath. The hands kind of isometrically can kind of track towards the waist, and that pulls the heart forward and continue to kind of pull the shoulder blades down the back. So there's this natural extension in the spine that appears. A big inhale. And then exhale, lengthen out. As you fall down, we'll pulse this 2 more times. So inhale, float on up. the serpent, the cobra, the transformation, the death, the egolessness. Cobra pose. Big inhale, exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Yeah, let Shiva and Shakti in. Let them both in. Oh, yeah. And then little bend the knees, left foot steps, left hand. Here. Pausing, come up onto the fingertips. So nice high stance. Yep. And then again, inhale, straighten the front leg, draw the forward towards the shin. And exhale, bend the front leg knee. And then again, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more of these. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Ground right hand. Inhale, float the left hand. Reach up, up, up. Stay with the breath. Oh, yeah. And then release left hand to the sacrum here. Keep the heart space opening. Back leg quad stays firm here. Breathe in and gently release now the right knee to the earth. Take a moment here and allow the twist to continue to develop. And then possibly bend now this right knee, capturing foot or ankle with the left hand, a little stretch of the quad. We know that. Spectacular. Big inhale. And exhale, gently release the foot here. Left hand plants, inhale, breath. And then exhale, back foot steps to the top of the mat. So we're back in our forward folding position. Take a moment here. Yeah. Breathe deeply, friends. Stay with the breath. Oh, yeah. And then inhale, half lift. So Ardha Uttanasana. And then a little bend the knees and then flat back to standing. So cactus the arms. Come all the way to standing. Reach the hands and arms over the head. Put a little sway in the body here. Yeah, just a little bit of movement. Stretch long. That can feel good. Yep. And then keep the arms ascending. Shoulder girdles lifting. Then a big inhale. Then exhale, Utkatasana. So chair pose here. The pubic bone draws back. The knees keep tracking in line with the feet here. Stay with the breath. If this is a little challenging for the shoulders, you can always lower the arms a little bit. Stay with your breathing though. So nice. And then inhale, come to standing. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Yep. Inhale, half lift, Ardha. And exhale, flowing like water. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step back into high plank, high push-up here. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. 8 points bowing, Ashtanga Pranayama. We know this as. And then inhale, pull forward into cobra pose again. Yeah, so just allowing for that sense of transformation to appear. It's really the death of the ego. And take a nice big inhale. And exhale, look over the right shoulder here. Inhale, center neutral. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Yep. And then inhale, center neutral. And exhale, float torso, forehead down. And again, inhale, float on up. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. And exhale, float down. Stay with me here. Inhale, float on up and hold the breath in and just wait a minute. And exhale down. We'll do one more time. Dispassion and transformation. Inhale, float on up. Hold the breath. And tuck the back toes under and exhale. Lift the hips down, dog. Nicely done, friends. Whew. Breathe deeply. Ground the roots of the fingers, triceps drape towards the earth, belly to the spine, upper thighs internally rotate. Some length out of the pose. And then Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1, right side. So right foot steps, right hand, left heel pivots down. Take a moment here. Come to standing. Organize your stance. So we're squaring hips off, quad active back leg. Inner thighs squeeze together. Going into that. Really ground that back foot and big toe mound front foot. Core tone, so get all that set. And then float the hands and arms over the head. Reach tall, shoulder girdle lifts, and then take your gaze to the horizon. And then soften the eyelids. And just turn it into a trance. And breathe deeply. Nice big inhale. Exhale, float the hands behind you. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bow torso on the inside of this right leg, hands and arms over the head. Stay with the breath. Yeah. And then exhale completely here. Then inhale, float hands and arms over the head, reach real tall. And stay with me again. So exhale, hands to the waist. A little different transition here. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Then exhale, pivot 180 degrees to the left. So we're just switching direction. We have to step this right leg out so the hips continue to track, with the width of the stance. Quad active, back leg. Inner thigh squeeze, core active, reaching. Shoulder girdle lifting. Stay with the breath. Then again, take your gaze to the horizon and just soften the eyelids. Breathe deeply. Nice, friends. And then inhale, breath. Exhale, hands behind you, interlace fingers. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bow torso on the inside of this. Now left leg, hands and arms over the head. Breathing. Exhale, breath. Then inhale, sweep hands and arms to the sky again. Exhale, hands to waist. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, pivot again, 180 degrees. Warrior 1 stance again. Find your trance-like dristi, your trance-like gaze. Big inhale. Exhale, hands to prayer. And then modified warrior 3. So release the back foot, point the heel to the sky. Bring your weight into this right leg and then just straighten that standing leg and lift the back leg, body down, leg up. Stay with the breath. Breathe deeply. Nice big inhale. And exhale, hinging at the hips here, folding forward. The standing split, forehead towards the earth or so. Breathe in. And then carefully bend standing leg knee. Release the back foot down. We'll meet in peace, warrior stance. So hands to prayer at the heart. We know this. And again, your gaze up here, and then add this energy of vairagya, this energy of dispassion. Nice big inhale. And exhale, hands to the waist. Inhale, straighten the front leg, and again, 180 degrees. So just spin to the left. Step that right foot out. Hands and arms over the head, reach in. Right? Trance, dristi, call this. Yep. And a nice big inhale, and then exhale, hands to prayer. At the heart here, modified warrior 3. Release the back heel, point the heel to the sky. That squares the hip. Put the weight in this left leg. Just straighten that left leg. Lift the back leg, body down, leg up. Breathing. Yep. And then standing split here. Hinging at the hip, forward fold. Forward towards the shin. Breathing. Oh, yeah. And then a careful bend in the knee of the stand leg. And then release into peace warrior stance here. Just find your trance dristi, trance gaze. Big inhale. Exhale, hands to the waist. Inhale, straighten the front leg. And then pivot again 180 degrees, but warrior 2 stance now. So it's a little longer. We know that. This back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Front heel intersects arch or so. Quad active, back leg, inner thighs squeeze, core is active. Float hands and arms shoulder height. And then sink really low here. Maybe adjust the length of the stance here and then let the palms turn up. And then let's just like water flowing, straighten the front leg, arms over the head. And then exhale, bend front leg, knee, and then just cross the hands at the heart. Whew. Then inhale, sweep and open, straighten. And exhale, 2 more times here. Sweep open, reach. Exhale, whew. Sweep open. And then just let the arms become very soft and just float them in the air. And then sink lower. Just keep floating the arms. Sink lower still. And then bring the right forearm to the right thigh, left arm over the head, extended side angle. And just breathe very deeply here. Engage the back of the quad. Core stays open. Heart spins open. And then straighten this right arm and sink deep into it. Stay with the breath here. And then bring this left hand to the sacrum. Keep opening the heart space. Going into that. And then possibly bind this out. Yeah. Just feel into that. Breathe here. We lengthen. We extend by drawing the shoulder blades down the back and opening this left shoulder bit. Yep. And then gently release here. Straighten the front leg. And then come into triangle pose. Konasana. We know this as. Yep. Breathing. Stay with your breath. Oh, yeah. And then bring the left hand to the sacrum, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, beyond time here, friends. So step the back foot forward, and then plant the front hand in front of the front foot, then inhale, straighten the front leg, and lift the back leg. Stay with the breath. Heart opens here. Maybe float this left arm up. Stay with your breathing. Maybe bend this left knee, capture the foot or ankle. You can feel into that little stretch of the quad. Open the heart. Here in Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon, no time. And then a little bend in the stand leg knee. Release that back foot. Warrior 2 is where we meet. Take a minute there. It can be a little challenging to get through. And then a nice big inhale. Exhale, hands to the waist. Straighten the front leg, pivot this right foot, and left foot turns open. And then once again, warrior 2 stance. So sink deep here. Arms float, pulse. And then turn the palms up, sink deep. Then exhale the breath completely. Then inhale, sweep hands and arms over the head, straighten front leg. And then exhale, sweep through, across the arms at the heart here, really flowy and watery movement, just reaching, fluid, nourishing the creation. Yeah, the Divine Mother. And we'll do one more. Why not? One more of these, reaching up. Ooh. And then float arms shoulder height. And then once again, let the arms just be soft and flowy. Sink lower, lower, lower. And then left forearm, left thigh, right arm over the head. Extend this angle, Parsva, Konasana. And ground that back foot. Reach to the fingertips of that right hand. A whole bunch. Heart spins open. And straighten the left arm, sinking. Breathe in. And then the right hand to the sacrum. Heart keeps opening. Breathe here. And then possibly bind. Yeah, stay with the breath. So again, shoulders move away from the ears to create that extension. Ooh. And then gently release the grip of the hands here. And then triangle pose. So straighten that front leg. Ground that left hand, right hand, stars. Breathe in. Yep. And then a nice big inhale. Exhale, look down, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, bend the front leg knee, step the back foot in, plant the front hand on front of the front foot. This right hand can go to the sacrum, straighten that left leg. Stay with your breathing. Right hand to the sky. Possibly bend that right knee, capturing foot or ankle. Little stretch of the quad, then kick the foot into the hands. Just breathe here. And gently release the foot here. Warrior 2 is where we end up. So bend standing leg knee carefully. Arm shoulder height. Nice big inhale. Exhale, hands to the waist. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Pivot now, just the left foot. Take a moment here. Get your trance dristi established. Hands to the waist. Inhale, breath. Vairagya, dispassion. Exhale, hinge folding forward at the hips. Yeah, hands can release. Breathe here. Head releases. And then gently, a little twist coming. Inhale, half lift here. And then extend the hands out in front of you long. And then just put a little floatiness into the spine, side to side here. Feeling into that. And then ground firmly the right hand, and then take the left hand underneath and capture the outside of the right leg or the foot. And then just kind of pull towards the midline. Pretty self-revealing sensation there. And then gently release, and we'll switch this out. So ground now, the left hand, take the right hand underneath and just capture on the outside. Breathe deeply. Here, yep. And a nice big inhale. Exhale, gently release. Neutral inhale, you're breathing. Exhale, hands to the waist. And then inhale, flat back to standing. And then turn the toes out and the heels in. And then, so if this is Shiva and Shakti, then this pose is the goddess and the god. Mostly it said, oh, this is the goddess pose. And I have always felt like, no, it's both. Because two are one. And so how we take the goddess pose into the god pose is through the dristi. And so draw the arms up. Turn it into Yen Mudra. The palms turn up, float side to side, and then take your gaze to the horizon. Soften the eyelids. Shiva and Shakti. Sink lower. And then lower still. And then straighten this right leg, bring the hands to the earth, and just sink, Skandasana. Then if you want, we're already kind of prepared for this, so if you want to bind it out, you can attempt that little maneuver. Breathe in. And then releasing, bind possibly, and then ground the hands, and then just track the body to the other side. Sink torso on the inside, and again, possibly bind. You choose. And gently release here. Back to neutral. And then back into Shiva Shakti form. Right, trance, dristi. Float side to side. Sink again real low. And then inhale, straighten the legs. And so we call this star pose. Arms are wide. Pubic bone draws back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back or towards one another. Turn the palms up. Lean back, but keep the core active here. Big inhale. Then exhale, hands behind you. Straighten the feet here. Like so. Inhale, breath. Then exhale, hinging at the hips. Draw the hands and arms over the head. Coming into a deep forward fold. Weight in the big toe mounds. Breathing deeply. Oh, yeah. And then back into Shiva and Shakti pose. So we're here. So goddess, archetype, Shiva Transdristi, water flowing, so more Shakti energy, and dispassion, the dreadlocks flowing. Oh yeah. Sink low, last time. And then star pose again, straighten legs, reach. Breathe deeply, elbows draw back, palms turn up. Inhale, breath. Exhale to the heart. So trance dristi, and then close the eyes and bring your awareness into the center of the brain. Third eye focus. And gently release the hands down. We can open the eyes and just pivot this back foot to the top of the mat. So just come to the top of the mat. We'll soften here for a moment. So bend the knees, kind of a little oval shape with the arms, eyes closed. Now eyes closed. And then just universalize your awareness or your perceptions. In other words, let everything kind of come into a whole sense of experience, a sense of oneness, wholeness, purna. Okay, friends, gently open the eyes here. And float hands and arms over the head. Reach. Exhale, swan dive fold forward. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant, and step back into down dog here. So we'll come into Vajrasasan. We know this is side plank pose. And Vajrasasan was one of the scribes of the Vedas. So one of the first seers with transcendental vision that taught us about these things. So we honor the teachers in our lineage. So draw the right hand into the center line of the body. Come onto the knife edge of the right foot. The modification for this is to release the right knee down. You can do that if you like. Or here, and then stack the left foot on the right, and then the hips just lift. Really push the floor away. So straighten this right arm without locking the elbow, and then draw the left arm up, and then draw the left arm over the head. So again, Vajrasasan was one of the first rishis, this first seers in the teachings of the Vedic ideal. And then bringing it into tree pose possibly. So foot grounds on the inner part of the right thigh. Keep lifting the hip. And then again, the arm goes back over. And then you may want to capture the big toe mound. That's another modification. And just straighten the leg. Breathe deeply here. Fully honoring Vajrasasan, the teacher. And then release this left foot down behind you. Turn it into a back bend. So lift the hips here. Reach back. Breathe very deeply here. Yep, a nice big inhale, and exhale will meet in downward facing dog. Very well, friends. Yeah. Honoring the teachers in the lineage. So other side, left hand, center line, knife edge, left foot, feet stack, hips lift, and then float this right arm, and then over the head. Breathe deeply. And then tree pose. Lift, lift. Stay with the breath. And maybe grab the big toe mound. Stay with your breathing. And then back bending. So the foot's behind you. Lift the hips. Lean back. Draw the shoulder blades together. Gaze up. Breathe. A nice big inhale. And exhale. Down dog. Inhale your breathing. And exhale Balasana. Child's pose. Very nice. And then gently inhale. Come on up, and we'll make our way to a seated position here. Yeah, seated position. Take a minute. Yeah. And then Vista Konasana, one-legged angle forward fold. So the legs separate into a V shape. In this point, it can be helpful to be on a blanket under the sits bones if you're kind of leaning back. So we really want to try and give the pelvis a chance to kind of be vertical, if you will. And then we want to ground the backs of the legs. And so the first kind of move for that is to spread the toes. And one may notice that the quads activate, and that helps support the grounding of the backs of the legs. Bring the hands behind you here. Lift the heart so shoulders move away from the ears, shoulder blades on the back, and can I even squeeze them a little bit. And that really creates the extension. Eyes closed. And then bring your awareness into the inner groins where the stretch is appearing. It's fairly revealed, one might say. And then imagine that one can draw the breath from underneath the pelvis, from the earth into the pelvic floor. So just lift the energy underneath your pelvis with your inhale. And then gently soften the inner groin muscles there. Continue to breathe into the pelvic floor. And then gently open the eyes here and release the hands in front of you. We're not quite done though, so I'm going to actually get out of the sun. Here, come back a little more on my mat. And draw the hands in front of you. Keep the front spine long though. There can be a tendency to round, to go deeper. And that really doesn't allow for kind of energetic extension. So let the front spine stay long, the shoulders move away from the ears. Hands are firm and they're kind of energetically or isometrically drawing towards the pelvis. And for me, I'm just going to stay here today. This feels good enough for me today. If you want to take it further all the way down, you can, or whatever you're feeling your body may want to explore, accommodate. Yep. And then gently walk the hands back and then lean over to the right side. So take this right arm out, the palm turns up, grounded on the inside of that extended right leg. Spread the toes again, open up the heart, float the left arm to the sky. Just breathe here. And then maybe sink a little deeper into the right hip, and possibly you can reach that right arm a little closer to the foot. Keep opening in the heart space here. And then just at first an experiment, draw this right arm behind you. Yeah. And just kind of open into the shoulder. Maybe that allows you to go a little deeper in the form, and then inhale, float right arm up, and exhale over the head and possibly reach towards the foot. You choose how that appears. And then gently ground this right arm, inhale, float the left arm up, and exhale, release it down. Ooh. And then we'll extend over to the other side. So this left palm turns up, grounds on the inside left leg, heart opens here, and then float this right arm up now. Breathe deeper, sink a little, possibly deeper into the hip, maybe inch the hand towards the foot. And then bring now this right hand to the sacrum. So heart opens, feel that. Maybe that can take you deeper into the hip, and then inhale, float, right arm up, exhale over the head and reach possibly towards the foot. Stay with the breath. So nice. And then ground this left hand, inhale, float, the right arm up to come out of it. Exhale, hand and arm down. Take a moment. Let that aura of dispassion appear again. It was so fascinating to read about Babaji's guidance for worship, that it should be disinterested. And he said that is the worship of liberation. Yeah. And then gently draw the hands to the inner legs here, to the inside the knees things, and then just gently float the knees up. We'll come into a symmetrical kind of pose that evens out the body. So Paschimottanasana, toes spread, backs of the legs ground, inhale, float hands and arms over the head, and then lean forward till the hamstrings, you find that contact stretch, and then just gently release the hands to the shins. The energy stays up, so we stay extending. The legs are kind of being grounded into the pelvis here, slowly letting the hamstrings open. And then as space is created, there's more movement in the pelvis, a little deeper stretch. The hands might even be kind of guided towards the feet. Inhale the breath. Then exhale, just hinge at the hips here. Let the ribs drape to the thighs. The head now can release down. Breathe into the belly and feel that expansion in the back of the body. And tone the belly here. Inhale, walk the hands back up the legs. We'll spin around, or I'll spin around, I guess, onto the back. So gently use the core here. Make your way onto the back. Full body stretch here. So reach to the arms and extend through the legs. Then hug the knees into the chest. A little rock side to side here. A little massage of the spine. And then Supta Baddha Konasana, recline bound angle. So feet ground, and then the knees open here. Kind of push the feet lightly together. Palms, let's just leave them by the sides with the palms turned upward here. Hands and arms. Eyes closed. Explore the sensation of water, the sense of fluidity just flowing over the body, a sense of ease. Any tenderness in the body is met with dispassion, vairagya. A sense of presence is always consuming. And gently using the muscles of the inner legs, draw the knees towards one another or hug them again into the chest. And then a supine twist here, real simple, just ground the feet, shift the hips to the right and the knees to the left. The arms are at a T or cactus position. Gaze can go to the right. Breathe into the belly. And then very gently let the knees draw back up into neutral here. Sweep the hips to the left, knees to the right. And gently let the knees sweep back up into neutral position here. Hug them. And then our inversion Viparita Mudra, hands ground. We know this. The feet lift, the hips lift. And then just shimmy the arms underneath you, hands to the low back. The body comes into a V shape here. Mm-hmm. Breathe in. And settle in here. Get the full benefits of the inversions. A couple minutes. And we'll gently begin to move out of this. Here, so a little bend in the knees, release the hips from the hands, earth, hips slowly float down, hug on the knees again. Then we'll do our Pre-Shavasana breath holding practice. Extend the legs, palms turn upward, and this time we'll hold the breath in and then we'll empty it in, 3 parts. 4 parts. So, and I'll call that out. So exhale, you're breathing completely, and then a big inhale. Hold the breath in. Exhale a quarter of your breath. Stop. Exhale another quarter. Stop. Exhale another quarter. Stop. Then exhale the rest. And this time, we'll just pooch out the belly and then have one extended breath retention, one exhale. So exhale completely, big inhale here. Hold the breath, pooch out the belly. And gently exhale your breathing. Just carry this right into Shavasana. Shavasana's interesting, friends. It's the domain of the Shiva. The domain of awareness. guide the awareness to explore the feeling of the expanding universe. The expanding universe. Just awaken into awareness. And then observe your inhalations and how that seeds the body with life. With vitality, with pranic energy, with Shakti. Just imagine it's the recreation of the beginning of time. When the universe took its first inhalation, its first breath, breathing life into itself. Let the breath lengthen here, gently adding movement to the body. A little stretch, hug in the knees. We'll come to our left side. And gently make your way to a seated position here. Establishing a comfortable seated position for a meditation practice. If there's anyone that's newer on the stream here on this morning, we have another solid 25 minutes or so of practice, some pranayams in our meditation. And let's begin our pranayam with the Nadi Shodhan. We know this as alternate nostril breathing, actually translated as nerve cleansing practice. We bring the right hand into Vishnu Mudra, bending index finger, middle finger, palm of hand, thumb, ring finger extend. Hand is brought to the face versus turning the head to the hand. Elbow lifts. Exhale your breathing here, and then just begin the practice. Inhale through the left nostril, full yogic breath. So belly expands, ribs and chest expand. 3-part breath in. And then lift the thumb, take the ring finger, close that left nostril, exhale through the right, belly to the spine at the very bottom of that exhale. And then belly expands, again, 3-part breath, belly, ribs, chest, full breath in, lift ring finger, thumb closes right nostril, exhale left. That constitutes 1 round. Nadi Shodhan. Just continue as time permits. What's so powerful about this practice is that Ida and Pingala Nadi, we could call this the Shakti and Shiva Nadis as well. So Shakti Nadi exits out the left nostril, Shiva Nadi exits out the right nostril, and they both intersect through the third eye. So that vertical eyes. So the suggestion here is to lightly roll your eyes up inside your head. Take your inner gaze into the center of the brain as you do this practice, lifting the energy of the breath into the chakra of the third eye. And as you exhale, let that energy expand through the region of the third eye. So invoking the quality of your transcendental vision, your sense of clairvoyance, all the subtle capacities of the being. It's likely that there's sensation within the structure. So listening carefully here. Complete the practice by exhaling out the Shakti Nadi, which is Ida, the left nostril. And once you've completed this, let the eyes stay closed here, feeling the effects of the practice, even staying concentrated on the third eye chakra. And then our next practice is called Kapalabhati, skull shining practice. We've done this. It's done first by putting a light tone in the abdominal wall and moving the breath in pulses through the nostrils, pressing the breath into the head region. So Kapalabhati means skull shining, skull shining. And it's rapid exhalations with your concentration on the exhalation. And it's a chest breath. And again, we move the breath by the diaphragm. So I'm just going to do a quick little demo, and then we'll do this together. I know many of you probably practiced this with me. It looks like this. And so it's just kind of pushing the breath in succession into the center of the brain here. So we'll do this together. We'll do 50 repetitions, 2 rounds. Catch breath in between, exhale, and then take an inhale here. And then catch breath. And then inhaling and beginning your second repetition, 50 times. Just relaxing, keeping eyes closed. And so our next pranayama, and you can open the eyes here, is one where we're actually just moving the head with our breathing. And so again, I'll do a demo. Inhale the breath, and then exhale, the chin releases down, the forehead goes forward. Concentration on the third eye. And then inhale, lift the chin. And then the head goes up. Again, the eyes stay closed, concentrating on the third eye. And then exhale, the chin releases, the forehead releases down. So that's the practice. We'll do this as time permits. So inhale your breathing, and I'll teach the first one. Exhale, lower the chin and the head. Gaze at the third eye. So draw the drishti to the center of the brain. And then inhale, lift the chin slowly with the breath. Chin keeps lifting, head reaches up, breath still coming in, concentrating on the third eye. And then exhale, releasing. Just continue the practice here, your own volition. Breathing slowly, moving slowly. And then gently just make this your last repetition here, wherever you are, is fine. Just bringing the practice to a close. And then our final pranayama is called Brahmari. Brahmari. And that means bee humming practice. It's self-explanatory, and we've done this, but if it's newer for you in any way, we'll inhale the breath, and then we make a humming sound like a bee, a high-pitched bee as we exhale. And I'll do one demo. It's like this, inhaling. That's the practice. And then just begin when you're ready. Inhaling. And just complete the round that you're on, making this the last repetition. This is all called Mishrit Pranayama. Mishrit Pranayama. It means mixed pranayama. Mishrit. Let your inner drishti ascend into the third eye chakra, and we know this is Agnya chakra. We let the breath subside into a more subtle state. But as we inhale, let the breath float upward like the vapor of a very luminous cloud into the third eye. And then as you exhale, let that cloud kind of fill the entire head region. One gently may add the mantra of Om as you inhale and Om as you exhale, subvocally in the mind. And very gently let the focus on the third eye chakra subside. The repetition of the mantra of Om is gently dissolve. The parts of the Devi, the parts of the goddess of Shakti, as a pathway, a gateway to Shiva awareness. Explore this sensation of the expanding universe, allowing the awareness, the perception to move in an expansive way around you and traveling across the earth into outer space, through the universe, through time, even. A journey. Far out into the void, into the emptiness. And allow the perception to then explore this idea that you are the universe. You are the whole. And finally, that whole is being held itself by the all comprehensive nature of the transcended reality of Shiva, Parama Shiva, the great beyond. Many blessings, friends. Returning through the windows of the goddess into her energies and her forms, in the rapture of awareness. Let's chant a couple of ohms here to complete our practice. Exhaling, inhaling. And one more of these. And hands to prayer and just sharing gratitude for Saturday morning sadhana sangha with Shiva and Shakti and all the good vibes and the teachings of yoga. Namaste. Okay, friends. All right. Well, here we go. Thank you for this opportunity to share these teachings with you and this wisdom of Shiva and Shakti. And remember all the Venmo things and that stuff. And hopefully we'll see you soon. And just be reflective of the two who are one. And even Shiva and Shakti, they love peace. All right. You're welcome, friends. Yeah. Thanks, Gretchen, Sarah, Tracy, Megan, all you lovely humans out there. You're welcome, Aggie. Blessings to all. And we will see you next time. Om Shanti. Brienne, Gretchen. Bye.